This is Jeff Cohen of Insightful Web Builders. Don't blink because you are about to experience the shortest CSS Grid tutorial ever. Have you ever wanted to turn website content that looks like this here over on the right hand side into this, or even this? It's actually very easy to do, and we do it with just a few lines of CSS code. But first, let's look at the HTML markup. I have a div with a class of container with 9 child divs inside with lorem ipsum content. Now let's add just a little bit of CSS. Open up the head here. I'm going to create a rule for the container div. Display grid. That's the first thing. I'm going to save. Nothing happens. That's because we need one more line. And that is grid template columns. I'm going to say 1FR, 1FR, 1FR. Now, what are those? Fractional units. It's telling the browser to display the grid in 3 columns, each of which takes up 1/3 of the space. File save, and there it is. 2 lines of code. Now you're probably looking at this and thinking, wait a minute, the text runs into from one column to the next. That's no good. Okay, let's fix that. Let's add a 3rd line of code. Gap 1M. File save. Now we've added the gap. Maybe you want this to look even nicer. Now we've done all we have to do to use grid. There it is. But let's say we wanted these boxes to have a drop shadow. So I'm going to add another rule, and I'm going to do container div, which means the div that is directly a direct descendant of the container. And I will say, well, let me go ahead and paste this stuff in. There it is. I have pasted it in. Now I'm going to save. I'm going to file save, and now we have our cards with drop shadows. So that's it. CSS Grid in 3 lines of CSS markup. Obviously, there's a lot more to CSS Grid. My purpose today is just to show you how easy it is to get started. A great resource for learning more about CSS Grid and really all things CSS is Kevin Powell's YouTube channel. And this video, the easiest way to get started with CSS Grid, was the inspiration for my tutorial. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have questions.